Okay, so by now you guys probably saw the mysterious vignette on Monday Night Raw, and it's been a couple days later, and I'm hearing all sorts of things and what this may actually be. And the great thing about this is that WWE is planning a serious push for the new signing, which is Penta. Now, we don't have any confirmation on what his name is going to be in WWE. We don't know if WWE is going to have him renamed or whatever the case may be, but what we do know is that WWE is bringing him on despite the fact that Ray Phoenix is still going to be locked into AEW. Now, this is obviously interesting for a variety of reasons, but I'm going to tell you guys where I think WWE should put Penta in the card and how they should book him all the way up until the point where Ray Phoenix is back in the company. So obviously, with Penta coming to WWE, the plan is for him to debut on the debut episode of Netflix. So that already tells you how serious WWE is taking this, because this is going to be the biggest episode of Monday Night Raw in the history of the entire show. Because WWE is seriously taking this Netflix deal to the next level. Like, they are really behind this deal. The Netflix executives are incredibly happy about this deal. And of course, it just makes a lot of sense for WWE to have a debut of this nature, because it's going to show people that you should also take Penta serious. Because if WWE wanted, they could have already debuted him this past week or next week, but that's not in WWE's plans, which is a good thing. One thing I've been told, and we'll see how accurate this is. This isn't like some major scoop or anything, but one thing that I was told was that WWE plans to really merchandise Penta and then eventually Ray Phoenix. So part of that is WWE looks at these guys as like really unique talents, but they look at them as a very big part of the intellectual properties aspect of the business, in which WWE can monetize their gimmick, their look, the chance, things like that, which obviously makes a lot of sense considering WWE has already been really good about that. A great example of this is Jey Uso, who obviously the WWE took to the next level with the merchandising of the Yeet catchphrase, the glasses, the shirts. I mean, everything from that point of view, WWE has completely taken it to the next level. And WWE is going to want to do that very big time for the Lucha Bros. Now, the reason why this is so incredibly important is not only because of the money aspect, right? WWE is going to be able to make a lot of money from it, but also WWE has started to become a very well oiled machine in the sense that characters that have catchphrases or unique features about them that could be monetized, those are the ones that you see them more on TV. And this was obviously very evident with the New Day and then with Jey Uso, and of course, so many others. So, with WWE having that sort of approach with the Lucha Bros, it just makes all the sense in the world. But what's also not being talked about is why WWE will want to push Penta first as a big time star. And that is also because WWE does have a plan to get the Raw tag team division back on track. As you guys saw on Raw, we saw the War Raiders pick up the win and they beat the Judgment Day for the titles. The Judgment Day only defended those titles twice in the span of less than 200 days. So, I mean, it really wasn't that great of a tag team championship reign for the Judgment Day. And WWE is trying to get that back on track. So, the more and more that WWE pushes Penta, eventually, when they bring back Ray Phoenix, they are going to be a very integral part of the tag team division, which is what those guys were hoping for when leaving AEW. So, the more success that Penta sees as a singles guy, I actually don't believe WWE will change course. I think WWE looks at it from a perspective of, hey, we'll get this guy going. We're going to get him very, very popular with our audience. Our audience will become very acclimated with him. And then when it's time to bring in Ray Phoenix, people will already be excited for that. I think they're going to be naturally building anticipation for that, which is very, very good thinking. Now, also, there has been this conversation. I know I've talked about this in previous videos and previous live streams. I know JD just recently talked about it on Twitter because we literally just had an interaction about this. But what often gets brought up is the Lucha Bros needing a mouthpiece. And one thing I've suggested months ago was Jose the Assistant coming into WWE. He's no longer with AEW. This guy can take bumps. He can cut promos. Like, he's a really good mouthpiece. He'll be a very good asset to WWE, especially when working with the Lucha Bros. So I would like to see a situation where WWE decides to not only build the Lucha Bros to the top of the tag team division, But in the meantime, for those who don't know Jose the assistant should immediately be the one to he should be the one to immediately, occupy the ringside area with Penta. Penta is going to need a great mouthpiece. Jose, the assistant, could be a really good manager for him. And then you could tie that into a storyline where eventually Penta is going to need his brother, right? And Jose, the assistant, is going to do his job very well done as the manager by bringing in Ray Phoenix when the time is right. And I think this would be a really good idea for the WWE because really what it comes down to is the WWE has to do a couple things here. Not only do you have to get Penta and Ray Phoenix over, but you also have to get Jose the assistant over. And Jose the assistant coming out and being like the valet manager assistant, for Penta, whatever. It's going to be a really interesting task because at the same time too, even though the manager isn't the most important part, for those in the WWE audience who don't know who Jose the assistant is, he is going to have to get himself over as the manager for Penta to make the overall act believable. So WWE is going to face some challenges here if they were to do this, but the good thing is I think it will work out very well. Also, one thing that is also that's not being talked about is how does WWE immediately bring in Penta? Because a lot of people are, and I hate this part of the IWC, but the first thing that they start saying is, oh, well, he's going to be involved in the LWO. That is ridiculous. And I would really hope to think that WWE isn't that dumb. Obviously, there is some stuff right now with Rey Mysterio and the New Day, and, the New Day turned heel. I don't know if WWE would really want Penta and Rey Mysterio to be in a tag team until Phoenix comes back, but that would be the wrong way to go about it. So, what I actually want to see is Penta go after the Intercontinental Championship. First of all, I think Penta could go out there and have a banger match with anybody. I think he'll be incredibly awesome in a feud with Braun Breaker. But if WWE were to actually have Penta win the Intercontinental Championship and beat Braun Breaker, and Jose the assistant and Penta were to make the claims like on day one on Netflix, people will see him as a singles guy. It gets away from all the noise surrounding the LWO bullshit. And then also on top of that, if WWE has him going after the Intercontinental Championship at first, eventually Penta could drop it to another individual on the roster and then preferably a heel, I should say, because when a heel goes after Penta, somebody will need to make the save. And the person that can make the save is nobody other than Ray Phoenix. And then that's how they transition from Penta being a singles guy to a tag team guy. Also, what's really cool is that if there is a lot of success with Penta as a singles guy in WWE, then perhaps WWE could look at that as an opportunity years from now if they want to split up the tag team or whatever it may be. As you guys know, Triple H loves splitting up tag teams. I don't necessarily like that idea, but if they were to, at least they have a little bit of common ground with the idea. Hey, Penta was successful when he initially came in. So I'm glad that they're thinking very seriously about this. We'll see which route that they go. But I think Jose, the assistant, being part of the Lucha Bros Act would be perfect. I think you don't even have to wait for that. On day one, he comes out, introduces his client, which is Penta. Zero Miedo becomes a massive chant. WWE starts merchandising it. And then eventually we just play the waiting game for Ray Phoenix. Let me know what you guys think down below.